Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about 15 things you need to know before you consider purchasing the brand new Grotti Turismo Classic. So that's right, Rockstar's added this beauty of a car into Grand Theft Auto Online, and today we're going to be talking about some of the things you should know, including some buyer beware, but also some things that I absolutely love about this vehicle. Now, before we get started, quick reminder, I'm doing a shark card giveaway right now on my Twitter account. I'll leave the details of that in the description. Basically, I'm giving away $1.25 million to help one of you guys fund the Grotti Turismo Classic. So that'll be ending in a couple days, so you've got plenty of time to enter that. I'll leave links to that in the description. However, let's start with the brand new vehicle, and that is the Grotti Turismo Classic. Now, with all our new vehicles, we have price, and that is always our barrier to entry. However, this one is not bad. The Grotti Turismo Classic is only $705,000, actually making it $210,000 cheaper than the Pegasi and Furnace Classic that actually released last week. Now, another interesting fact is that full upgrades for this vehicle, performance-wise, only cost $159,000, which means that the Grotti Turismo Classic costs exactly $864,000 to buy it and fully upgrade it performance-wise, which makes it cheaper than the stock version of the Infernus. And it also has some better perks than that car as well, which we'll touch on a little bit later. So in my opinion, not only are you getting a better vehicle, but in order to buy it and upgrade it performance-wise, you're also getting it for cheaper than you would than the Infernus Classic that came out last week. Now, let's talk about some really cool features of this car before we bring it into the Los Santos custom shop. So just like the Infernus, the Turismo has an awesome pair of pop-up headlights. However, these don't go up as much. They're not as prominent. Now, I believe these are called sleepy eye headlights. I'm not exactly sure if that's the right word for it, but the Turismo almost looks sad in a way, and that's kind of where you get the sleepy eyes thing. Now, one thing that I did think was a little unfortunate is there's a bumper option that actually adds some extra lights on there. Those don't work. The only lights that do work are the ones that pop up. So unfortunately, those didn't work because it would have been cool to get some extra lights on the bumper itself. But regardless, still an amazing looking vehicle. Those pop-up headlights are absolutely so cool. If we move on to the interior of the car, the same thing with all these recent vehicles. For whatever reason, the steering wheel seems to be blocking the gauges and the dials on the dash. Now, one way you can actually get around this is by holding down the right bumper or like ducking inside of the car, which will actually allow you to see the not only the steering wheel a little bit better, but the dials a little bit better too. But of course, you have much more limited visibility on the road. So you've got this beautiful interior with these amazing stitchings and details, yet you can't see the awesome RPM meter, you know, in miles per hour gauges, stuff like that. So that right there is a little bit unfortunate, but still you've got a beautiful interior. If we move on to the outside and opening up all the doors, the trunk of this vehicle completely empty, nothing inside there. You can obviously see how nice the inside of this car looks. And then one cool thing I thought with the hood of the car, when it's raised up, you've got these like supports that actually keep the hood of the car held up. I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm sure that's reminiscent of, you know, a feature on the real-life F40 or the Testarossa or whatever, but I thought that was pretty awesome. A nice little touch by Rockstar to add that into the game on the new Turismo. Now, let's go ahead and bring this vehicle into the Los Santos custom shop, and this vehicle has awesome customization. For a sports classic car, 20 categories of customization. That is amazing. The first of those categories is the bumper, where we've actually got quite a few options to choose from. We have 7 total options, which is pretty amazing. I think for this build, I ended up going with the lightweight stock front bumper, which was kind of a clean look. You can also change the color of the engine block if you want it to be the stock, primary, or secondary, which I think is pretty cool. There's also 5 options for the exhaust. I believe I ended up choosing the chrome tipped one here, so that was that right there. We've also got many different options for the hood. However, the hood options change more than just what you see. They actually impact the mirrors. So if you choose a hood option without a stripe, your mirrors are going to take on the secondary color. However, if you choose a hood option with a stripe, the mirrors are going to take on the primary color. As you can see what happens right here when I add the stock hood with a stripe. Now, there's also options here for a couple different sun strips. There are 12 different options for spoilers, which I all really like, so you can have a lot of fun customizing your spoiler and your look right there. Then there's a couple other things you can do, like turbo transmission, stuff like that. Now, there's also a trim color on this car that does impact the interior of the car. So as you can see here, when I change the trim color, that's what's affected. It doesn't change as much as the Infernus, and you actually can't change anything else on the interior. So there's white stitching that goes around kind of the seats and the doors. You actually can't change that no matter what you do, primary or secondary. So the only way to, I guess, upgrade the interior is by changing the trim color. The primary nor the secondary have an impact on that. Now, let's talk about the wheels. Unfortunately, there is no way to change the color of the stock wheel with the iFruit app. However, there is a workaround, and that can be done by just simply selecting the muscle wheel 5-star. Like, they're literally the exact same wheel. They're incredibly similar, so there's almost no differences there. So if you wanted to change it to like a black or a red or blue, whatever, use 5-star. It's almost identical to the stock wheel. So that's actually kind of a nice cheat or a get around right there, because we can't color the wheels with the iFruit app. And this was kind of my final product right here. I went with the white primary, the red secondary, tried to keep things as pretty minimalistic, as simple as possible. I didn't want to mess up this car because it is so beautiful. So as far as price goes and upgrading it and mods and customization, it is an A++. So far, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this vehicle, other than kind of the minor things I noticed with the steering wheel and the light options on the bumper. But those are so minuscule that they really don't have any impact on me wanting this car. Now, let's move on to the performance of this vehicle, because all of that is great. However, if it's a stinker performance-wise, is it really going to be worth it here? And good news is the Turismo Classic is not only amazing, it is the best sports classic vehicle in the game. So if you want a lot of details on just how great this vehicle is performance-wise, I'll leave a link to BROUGHY'S video in the description, who has talked about it on multiple occasions. This vehicle is now the best sports classic car in the game. So if you want to be competitive in sports classic races, this is going to be a must-buy. Performance-wise, it is absolutely amazing. It's better than the two vehicles that were atop of it before this, which is the Infernus Classic that came out last week, and then the Sterling GT, which has obviously been in the game for a long time now. So performance-wise, once again, this car also gets an A+ rating. And as kind of a side bonus, it's also not affected by the current glitch that's going on right now that is affecting many vehicles in the game. The suspension bug that has plagued the Infernus Classic, and the Turismo Classic is not affected by this. So you don't have to worry about turning left too sharply. The suspension isn't going to give out. So not only does it not suffer from that glitch, but it's also, regardless, still the best vehicle in the game for the Sports Classic class, which is amazing. Now, the Sports Classic class doesn't get a whole lot of love from things like stunt races and whatnot, but it's still a really fun class to use, and especially with these two vehicles now. So if you are going to be doing races like this, the Turismo Classic is 100% a vehicle that you're going to need to own, because it absolutely smokes the two vehicles before it, the Infernus Classic and the Sterling GT. And hopefully last week you listened to my warning of not buying the Infernus Classic if you were only going to be using it for races, because now that's essentially become obsolete in two ways, because it's affected by the glitch, but also because the Turismo is simply just better. And this kind of reminds me of what Rockstar did in Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 and 2. In Part 1, they released the Osiris, which became the fastest supercar in the game, and then 28 days later, with Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2, they released the T20, which became faster than that. So hopefully you didn't fall for the Infernus Classic if you wanted to use it strictly for racing, but that vehicle is beautiful. You're probably not just using it for races. Both cars I definitely recommend buying, but I still think it was funny, the comparison there between those two DLCs and what Rockstar did here in Cunning Stunt's Special Vehicle Circuit. All right, so to give you guys my final review on this car, I think this is one of the best vehicles that Rockstar has ever added into Grand Theft Auto Online. Not only is it based off of two beautiful real-life vehicles like the F40 and the Testarossa, but it's simply an amazing car. It's not overpriced, it has great mods, upgrades, and customization, and it's the best new sports classic car. So so it is the top vehicle in its class. It's rare that you check off like all 3 or 4 or 5 boxes that I look for when buying a vehicle, and this car certainly has it. It's absolutely amazing. What an awesome way to top off all the hidden vehicles that we've received in Grand Theft Auto Online from Cunning Stunt Special Vehicle Circuit. So would I recommend the Turismo Classic? Yes, absolutely. Whether you just want it for customization or whether you just want it for car shows or races, this is an absolute home run, slam dunk winner. And in my opinion, it would be a mistake not to buy this vehicle. Literally the only buyer bewares I can find are just some tiny details that I'm sure many of us can overlook. So that's the Turismo Classic. I think this is an amazing vehicle. In a couple hours, we're going to be doing a really fun live stream where we do some car shows, some racing, just some fun stuff with this vehicle. So be sure to stay tuned on my channel for that. That'll be happening pretty soon. Reminder, shark card giveaway going on in the description right now on my Twitter account. So I'll leave a link to that there. If you guys did go and enjoy this video though, or are hyped for the new Turismo Classic, be sure to drop a like on this video. That would be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.